The tip of the tongue, the lips, the teeth. Say it with me. The tip of the tongue, the lips, the teeth. Now do this. Now like, yeah. Get your lips going. We're going to sing All God's Critters Got a Place in the Choir, and it's a lot of words. It's a lot of words. You'll want to stand up, take your energy drink, and we're going to sing all of the verses. All of them. All of the verses. You might know the chorus, but do you know all of the verses? Let's start with the chorus twice through, huh? All God's critters got a place in the choir. Some sing low, some sing higher, some sing out loud on the telephone wire. And some just clap their hands or paws or anything they got now. All God's critters got a place in the choir. Some sing low, some sing higher, some sing out loud on the telephone wire. And some just clap their hands or paws or anything they got now. Listen to the top where the little birds sing on the melody where the high notes ring and the hoot owl howls over everything. The jaybird disagrees. Singing in the nighttime, singing in the day. The little ducks quack and he's on his way. The possum ain't got much to say and the porcupine talks to himself. Of course, all God's critters got a place in the choir. Some sing low, some sing higher, some sing out loud on the telephone wire. And some just clap their hands or paws or anything they got now. The dogs and the cats, they take up the middle where the honeybirds hums and the crickets fit. The donkey brays and the pony neighs and the old coyotes howl. Okay, now we want to get down in our low voice. Listen to the bass. Ready? And we need the words. There we go. Listen to the bass. Ready? And listen to the bass with his horn on the bottom. The bullfrogs croak and the hippopotamus moans and groans with a big to-do. And the old cow just goes moo. All right, another chorus. All God's critters got a place in the choir. Some sing low, some sing higher, some sing out loud on the telephone wire. And some just clap their hands or paws or anything they got now. It's a simple song of living, ready? And it's a simple song of living sung everywhere by the ox and the fox and the grizzly bear, the grumpy alligator and the hawk above, the striped raccoon and the turtle dove. All right, we know it. All God's critters got a place in the choir. Some sing low, some sing higher, some sing out loud on the telephone wire. And some just clap their hands or paws or anything they got now. All God's critters got a place in the choir. Some sing low, some sing higher, some sing out loud on the telephone wire. And some just clap their hands or paws. One more time. All God's critters got a place in the choir. Some sing high, some sing higher, some sing out loud on the telephone wire. And some just clap their hands or paws or anything they got now. Thank you.
What a perfect song for after the procession of the species, right? Thanks, Troy. Good morning. Welcome to the Olympia UU congregation. Our community envisions an interconnected world that is loving, just, and healthy. We commit to live out our mission to welcome and wonder, embrace and empower, bridge and become. Thank you for joining us today. You are welcome here just as you are. Whatever beliefs sustain you, whomever you love, however you understand and express your identity, and in all the ways you are still becoming the person you will become. My name is Ann Colbury. I prefer she, her pronouns, and I'm a member of the worship arts team. Leading worship today is our minister, Reverend Mary Gear.
Don't get quieter when it makes loud noise. You actually need to get louder so that we don't turn the volume up.
Got it.
Thank you.
Somebody give me the... Leading worship this morning is our minister, Reverend Mary Geer, Troy Fisher, our music director, and Reverend Sarah Lewis, Director of Community and Faith Development. And we are also joined this morning by Maddie Martinelli, who inspired this service. Here are a few things you should know about today's service. We are streaming live on Zoom and YouTube, and the service is being recorded. Those of you here in the sanctuary can see the generally accurate and sometimes amusing subtitles on the screen in front, or if you are online, on your screen. Over here we have soft chairs and activities for busy hands so everyone can be comfortable. And we are a multi-generational community. Babies and young people of all ages are welcome in the sanctuary. And we also offer nursery care and a story time program in the nursery wing. We are grateful to everyone who helped make the service happen this morning. Thanks to all who contribute in so many ways. After the service, everyone will have a chance to discuss reflection questions offered by Reverend Mary. If you're online, please join a breakout room for a virtual discussion. For those here today, please stay for coffee and conversation in the Commons. At 11:30, please return here to the sanctuary or to the main Zoom room for a discussion about the future of OUUC with the Board of Trustees entitled Falling Short, Looking Ahead. The 2024 online auction is open and ready for bids. There is truly something for everyone. Scroll through a galaxy of unique handmade items, garden and landscape consultations, local and regional walking tours, instruction in watercolor, painting, pickleball, dim sum, bread baking, and so much more. Go to OUUC Auction to make your initial bids today and check back during the week to ensure you're still in the running. Bidding closes next Sunday at 5 p.m. The live auction and dinner event is next Saturday from 5 to 8 p.m. What makes this event more than an important fundraiser is everyone coming together to socialize, enjoy a delicious dinner and entertainment, and the chance to bid on items not available in the online auction. Preview them on the auction website. If you've not yet bought your tickets, you're not too late. The deadline has been extended to tomorrow, so buy your tickets today. Together, we'll reach the sky and make this our best auction ever. You've probably noticed the beautiful bright quilt in the back of the sanctuary. This king-size quilt was made by the sewing ministry to support the auction. They're selling raffle tickets in the Commons after the service today and at the Thursday community dinner. What a great way to support the auction and possibly take home this beautiful quilt, lovingly sewn by OUUC members and friends. The lucky ticket will be announced Saturday at the live auction. There are so many things happening at OUUC. Please check the Tuesday electronic update or the OUUC website for the most current information. Now let us open our hearts and minds as we prepare for worship. It is good to be together. Maddie. This morning, we join Unitarian Universalist congregations around the world in lighting our chalice, the symbol of our faith tradition. If you're online and have a chalice or candle, let's light them together with the words of Sherry Woodbury. Spark of the Spirit, cupped in earth's embrace, light of love, alive in all creation. As we kindle this flame, we kindle our connection to the sacred web of life.
Good morning. I'm Reverend Mary, and I use she, her pronouns. I am a white older woman with brown and silver hair, wearing glasses and a blue shirt and gray sweater with my cat stole today. Our opening words are offered by Jennifer Pratt Walter. These are the wonders of earth dwellers, how plants harvest sun and remake its heat into food, then is harnessed by the plant eaters and up, the infinitesimal wink of sun and earth's boiling core in each warm-blooded cell. Is it not a marvel how us animal people marry oxygen to our red blood cells, how we release CO2 for the plant people, and how we all must return our bodies back when shed of life? How can we not live in unity and awe within the symbiotic choreography of such miracles? Come, let us worship together.
Let's sing together again. Hymn number 203, All Creatures of the Earth and Sky. I invite you to rise in body and our spirit. If you're joining us online, you can find the lyrics posted in the chats.
Good morning. I'm Reverend Sarah. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm a middle-aged white woman with dark brown hair wearing a navy blue and white dress today. In our coming of age programs for youth, which is a common UU rite of passage for youth in 8th grade or older, we ask our youth to create a credo and deliver it to the congregation. One common translation of a credo is that it is a statement of beliefs. But I prefer to emphasize with the youth that it can also be thought of as to this I give my heart, or what you feel most deeply. A credo is not just an intellectual exercise, but is rather a deep self-reflection and sharing. This year, we held Coming of Age for Adults, and most of that class shared their credos in December. Karin was not able to share then and brings her credo to us today.
Thank you, Sarah. My name is Karin Landsberg. I prefer she, her pronouns. I'm at a point in my life where I'm making some big changes. My job ends in a few days, and I'm planning to be intentionally unemployed. With that on the horizon, I'd come to the class hoping to get some insight into how to make some decisions, like what do I do next? What do I want to do with the rest of my life? Who do I want to be when I grow up? I'll cut to the chase. I didn't find a magical rubric that answered all my questions. Still, it was good to carve out some time to think about what I do know, what is important, and what I want to guide this next phase of my life. So here's a few things I do know. Life is precious and limited. I feel a sense of urgency to take advantage of my relatively good health and physical abilities, to take on things out now that I may not be able to do later on. A simple and focused life means I can engage more deeply in the things that are important. I continue to evaluate how I spend my time, my energy, and treasure. What is important, enjoyable? What can I let go of? I want to create. I don't know what I want to create. Fiber arts, photography, videos, spreadsheets, essays. And yes, I really do mean spreadsheets. And I'm not entirely sure what drives me to create. I do know I enjoy figuring things out, and I think this is related. In any case, I know I want time to dabble, to roam, and dive deep where I'm drawn, to find problems and solve them. I love growing food. Working in my garden, I can while away the day, meandering from one task to the next. I enjoy the physical work and practicality of it, being able to provide something so fundamental for myself and sharing the harvest with friends and neighbors. I'm drawn to traveling. I love exploring, figuring things out, meeting people, visiting family and friends, experiencing new and different places, and learning more about this world. And when I'm traveling, my life is simple. I like being physically active as part of carrying out my life. I have a hard time exercising for exercise's sake. I would much rather shovel dirt for an hour than go to a gym. I also know that the more I stay active, the more I will be able to stay active. I want the world to be better in some small way for my having been here. I'm finally realizing that I have valuable expertise and skills. I'm finding my lane, what I'm good at, and that's useful. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to use that going forward, though. And it is all connected. Everything I do changes me. That's how I interact with the world, by changes in me. And the world interacts with me by changes in the world, too. An instructor in grad school used to say, how you do, what you do, is who you become. So how do I want to do? I haven't fully answered that yet, but I'm going to do my best to live the question. Thank you.
Each Sunday, we engage in the spiritual practices of generosity and gratitude by joining together in service to our community and to something greater than ourselves. Each of us has the power to share, and when we combine our gifts to create an offering, we are able to do more than any of us can alone. Through our sharing, we also express gratitude for the gifts that life has given us, for the network of relationships in which we live, and for the presence of this community. If you are new or visiting us, you are our guest. However, if you are moved to participate in this offering, what you share will be most gratefully received. Today's offering does two things. It helps support the ongoing work of this congregation, which is also supported by our regular pledges. It also supports an organization that serves our greater community in harmony with our UU values. Our Share the Plate recipient for March and April is the Hawk Foundation. This is what they share about their work.
Greetings, everyone. Good. My name is Javon Bird, the Executive Director of the Hawk Foundation for Research and Education in African Culture. We're an Olympia-based nonprofit that works in African music education, partnering with the Olympia school districts. We also partner with the with the city of Olympia, providing African American and African-centered programming that's for the whole entire community. For the last couple of years, we've been working with the Olympia school districts, providing world music education and letting students enjoy African music and see how much of a global society that we live in. We're excited and we're thankful that we were chosen for this grant opportunity. And this funding will actually help us to continue to promote our programs in schools and within the community. Remember, most of the programming that we do is completely free for the students. So they're able to come in, learn about different culture, learn about things that they might not get a chance to learn about in school and class, like, African drums, African history, African American history. And most of the students, well, actually, I'll say all of the students who come into our program, they really, really love it. So I'd like to say again, thank you all for considering us as an organization that you would like to fund. And I look forward to continuing this partnership and continuing to work with the city of Olympia and spreading world culture and music.
May the offering now be generously given, as it will be gratefully received.
It was you lifting me up.
Thank you so much, choir. And thank you all for your generous gifts and all the ways that you share them. We came together this morning bringing everything that is in our lives. Let's open our hearts to the complexity of life as we place stones in the water of community. You will hear a heartbeat as we share today. It brings into our awareness that our individual hearts beat, and together we create the heartbeat of our community. So right now, let's just take a deep breath together. In and out, as we open our hearts to receive the complexity of all that is in our lives and community today. Five years ago today, the OUUC search team introduced me to this congregation. And I led my first worship service here. It was the beginning of a week of discernment about whether we would share ministry, and we said yes. Happy anniversary, OUUC. For those online, I invite you to share from your heart by entering in the chat. Those of us in the sanctuary can see your sharing on the screen. And for those on site today, I invite you to come forward if there's something you'd like to bring into this community. You may place a stone in the water as you hold your sharing in your heart. It works best if you come up by the side aisle and return by the center aisle. Let's hear the heartbeat of our community and reach out our hearts in love and care to all those who share today. We'll place a stone in the water for all that has been shared online, shared from the heart. And one more stone in the water for all that we hold in our hearts and that remains unspoken. Would you join me for a time of reflection and silence? I invite you to find a position that best supports your ability to breathe. And let's just take a breath together. And as we breathe in, I invite you to raise your shoulders to your ears and hold it for a beat. And then as you breathe out, lower your shoulders. And as you continue to breathe, breathing in, may you feel the support of the chair beneath you and all around you. And breathing out, may you release your worries and tensions. Breathing in, may you feel the support of your breath. And breathing out, may you release any sense of separation from all that is. Breathing in, may you feel the solidness of Mother Earth. Breathing out, may you open to joy, insight, and healing. Breathing in, may you feel safe, respected, and seen. Breathing out, may you feel loved. Let's be in silence together.
All right, I have a story for you all. It's a story that you might find in many traditions. It can be found in the Christian tradition, it can be found in the Jewish tradition, in Islam, and there's even a version of it from Japan. And in this story, in all these different places and traditions, there's a very important person. Sometimes in the Christian tradition, it's Jesus, or it's a young David in the Jewish tradition. It's a great warrior, it's a prophet, it's a very important person. And also in the story, in all of these stories, there's a spider. And the spider is just a spider. Now, to tell the story today, I need some help. So I need 4 volunteers. Are there 4 people who want to help? Yeah, come on up. Yes, yes. All right, that's our 4 people. Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to have, for reasons of height, I'm going to have Woody and Arlene, you are going to be cave rocks. So you are the walls of a cave. So face each other. Yes. All right. So this is our cave. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to have Otto be the spider. All right. So Otto, go on over here on this side and just be the spider off to the side. Okay.
This is getting better and better.
All right. Spider's just hanging out by a cave. Okay. Josie, you're the very important person. All right. So, one day, a very important person came along and saw a spider and thought to themselves, what good are spiders? Why did God even make spiders? Look at that spider. Why, it's not cute. They don't make anything good to eat or wear.
They're delicious with Tabasco.
Oh. We're getting culinary recommendations, but I do not endorse. Okay. So the very important person is like, spiders. The spider, of course, heard this, but does the spider care? No. The spider is just living its spider life. Whatever. I'm doing my spider things. It is. It's sensitive and it's self-confident. Kind of like you. So, the spider's doing its spider things. The very important person, though, is about to get in trouble. The very important person, in fact, has enemies that are looking for them. And seeing the enemies coming, the very important person needs to hide. And so they run into the cave. And they hide in the cave. But it's a wide open cave. The enemies are going to see them until the spider continues doing its spider thing. And so the spider comes along. It is. So the spider needs to work on this now. So the spider back and forth across the cave. And pretty soon, there's a big old web covering the cave entrance. And so when the enemies come along and they see this, they say, oh, obviously, no one has gone in this cave in a long time. Look at that giant spider web. We don't need to go in there and look. And so they pass by, and the very important person is saved. And after that, the very important person has learned an important lesson about spiders. That in fact, these little creatures going about their normal business are wonderful. And the very important person said, thank you, spider. And the spider shrugged its many shoulders and said, just doing my spider thing, but thanks for noticing. If you look at the web of a spider, it is actually an amazing creation made by a tiny creature. And in fact, just as the very important person learned, we also realize that all creatures are deserving of respect and kindness, even the tiniest, like a spider. Thus ends our story. Thank you all for your help.
That was an amen if I ever heard one. So I remember at last year's OUUC auction, Maddie Martinelli was very determined to win the sermon. She kept raising her paddle over and over again to outbid everyone. And soon after she did, I learned that she had an idea in mind. I have been delighted to talk with Maddie over these months about this idea, why it was so important to her, and what she was wondering about. You'll hear from Maddie in just a little bit. The questions Maddie raised for us to explore are how we decide what to eat when our eating to live may mean that an animal must die. How do we make ethical decisions based on our values? How does culture influence our food choices? And what does Unitarian Universalism have to say about this issue? All magnificent questions. Thank you, Maddie. So let's begin with some theology. Now, theology is one of those churchy words that might not feel totally comfortable for some of us. The definition of theology that I like best is from Anthony Pinn, an African-American humanist theologian. And Pinn says this: theology is a method for critically engaging, articulating, and discussing the deep existential and ontological issues endemic to life. Yeah, it's a mouthful. In less academic terms, what Pinn is saying is that theology is how we humans actively engage with the big questions of life and how we make meaning from our life experiences. Asking questions and making meaning. You've heard this from me before. It's the purpose of a faith community, I think. So one of the ways that Unitarian Universalists express our theology is through our values and principles, and then with our actions. I spoke a few weeks ago about the tension between our current first and seventh UU principles, the inherent worth and dignity of all people, and the interconnected web of existence of which we are a part. Now, some UUs noticed that our first principle speaks only of the inherent worth and dignity of people. So how does that relate to the seventh principle about the interdependent web of life, which includes all beings? And that question led to the formation of the First Principle Project in 2013, which proposed that the wording of the first principle be changed to affirming the inherent worth and dignity of all beings. Those in the UU Animal Ministry wanted us to recognize that our theology of interdependence requires us to honor all beings, not only all humans. So how we decide what to eat is a theological question. And our UU theology values can form what we choose. Our theology of interdependence asks us to notice that we are all connected to all beings, even those that scare us, or that we may not like very much, like, say, spiders. One part of our decision about food is facing the reality of this world. For humans to live, something must die. We must eat to live. And whether we eat plants, animals, insects, or fish, something alive must die in order for us to survive. This is part of the human condition, part of living in this world. There is no escape from death, our own and others, and death is necessary for evolution. We must wrestle with how to live with this reality. Another part of our decision about food is the culture we live in and our cultural identity, because food is a very important expression of culture. Last Thursday's community dinner featured food from around the world, and people shared food from their heritage as well as foods that they love. We had food from almost every continent. Food is an expression of who we are and a connection to our ancestors and our heritage. In some cultures, some beings are considered food while others are not. In Mexico, ants and locusts are a treat when dipped in chocolate. In Ghana, termites are an important source of protein. In China, bee and silkworm larvae are roasted and eaten. Lobsters, snails, frog legs, octopus, all delicacies around the world. And then some animals are farmed, intentionally raised for food. Cattle for beef, chickens, pigs, sheep for mutton, rabbits, ducks, turkey, salmon. Our culture also teaches us what animals are not food, and there are vast cultural differences. In the US, cows are raised to be eaten as steak, burgers, or sausages, while in India, cows are seen as a sacred representation of the mother goddess, so are protected and revered. In Asia, dogs are raised as food and sold in meat markets, while in the US, dogs are beloved pets. Religion also teaches us about our relationship to the other beings of this earth. Some religious traditions prescribe or prohibit certain foods at certain times, such as the special foods that Jews are eating now during this time of Passover, foods that symbolize the ancient story of oppression and liberation. Some religious traditions use a passage from the Jewish Bible to define their relationship to other creatures. The creation of everything is described in the first chapter of Genesis. And after the creation of the skies and the earth, the seas and the land, the animals and the plants, verse 26 says, "Then God said, 'Let us make mankind in our image, according to our likeness. Let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, and over the cattle, over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps on the earth.'" That biblical verse has been used to justify all manner of exploitation of land, water, and creatures, asserting that dominion means domination, and that the resources of this world are here for humans to use as we see fit. This hierarchy of living things puts humans at the top, with all other life below us, and so less worthy. And the way to justify mistreatment of other humans is to consider them animals to be dominated and exploited. That is the justification for all types of slavery, including the slave trade from Africa. And that mindset continues to this day. Now we call it oppression. Other religious traditions say that dominion actually means stewardship and protection of the earth and all life. When you say that we are part of the interdependent web of life and that we covenant to respect and care for all beings, we are drawing on the teachings of our liberal heritage as we interpret this biblical passage. And today, we put our faith into action by working to protect the environment and all beings in the interconnected web of life. The proposed values for our UU faith that will be voted on at General Assembly in June say that we honor the interdependent web of all existence. We covenant to cherish earth and all beings by creating and nurturing relationships of care and respect. With humility and reverence, we acknowledge our place in the great web of life, and we work to repair harm and damaged relationships. So if we adopt that statement as a grounding for our theology and spirituality, then how do we decide what to eat?
Good morning. Today I will be sharing a story about my family's dog, Songa. Songa was born and raised in a meat market in South Korea. She was treated inhumanely. A sanctuary got her out of the situation and rescued her. When we came to Washington, her siblings got adopted, but she didn't for years because she was so skittish and was clearly affected. When we met her, she was very nervous, and we took many visits to see her. Gradually, she got more comfortable. When she did come home with us, she was visibly nervous, and she didn't eat or drink for the first couple of days. She was terrified of lakes and playing fetch, and wouldn't do many things a quote-unquote normal dog would do. After a while, she learned to trust the family, her grandparents, and started to come out of her comfort zone little by little. She took her first walks around the neighborhood, car rides, trips to the cabin, and more. She then experienced movie nights and cuddles on the couch with the family and popcorn. What I find interesting is that some people say animals were put on this earth to be a source of food, but now we have the resources to get protein and nutrients, everything we need to be healthy and not eat an animal. If we think about how dogs are tortured in Korea, we can also think about any chicken factory here. The chickens are mistreated, it's inhumane. What is okay? What isn't okay? Now Songa continues to grow, and that makes me and my family happy. We also enjoy seeing her try new things and finally chasing a ball. She's not quite there with bringing it back yet. I want Songa to continue living her life, going to the cabin, visits, walks, hikes, growing and learning new things. Animals are not like humans, because my mom doesn't let the dog sit at the table for some reason. But we can all live life in appreciation of other beings, respecting that they are an animal, a living being. Thank you.
Thank you, Maddie. So part of my discussion about this auction sermon was getting to meet Songa. And after hearing Songa's story, I was very honored to be invited to meet the sweet dog who had learned early that humans were not to be trusted. Songa was shy at first, but took her cue from the humans who love her and the humans she'd grown to trust. And she sniffed my hand, then settled down near Maddie and me as we talked. How far she's come from the meat market in South Korea. She found a family to love her, and they found canine love and connection in the midst of COVID and beyond. So Songa's story, the experience of Songa, caused Maddie to ask questions about animals and food, about how to eat ethically and about culture. What is okay and what isn't okay? Songa also brought the gift of questions and an invitation to reflect on values and actions. Maddie's curiosity helped her to decide to eat a vegetarian diet and brought the awareness that other people might make a different decision. Now, neither Maddie nor I want to tell you or will tell you what to eat. Just like your theology and values in our faith tradition, you decide. We humans are omnivores. Our bodies can live on plants and animals, and as Michael Pollan put it in his book, The Omnivore's Dilemma, we have to decide what to eat. And Maddie and I can suggest some things to think about as you make your decisions about what you consider food. So I invite you to consider your values and what it means to be interdependent. For example, indigenous cultures in North America have a theology that draws on gratitude and reciprocity. In Braiding Sweetgrass, Robin Wall Kimmerer writes, "Cultures of gratitude must also be cultures of reciprocity. Each person, human or no, is bound to every other in a reciprocal relationship. Just as all beings have a duty to me, I have a duty to them. If an animal gives its life to feed me, I am in turn bound to support its life. If I receive a stream's gift of pure water, then I am responsible for returning a gift in kind. An integral part of a human's education is to know these duties and how to perform them." You might ask yourself, what is your duty to plants and animals that you eat? You might decide that you will eat animals that are humanely raised and slaughtered. You might decide that you will raise your own animals and take responsibility for preparing them as food. You might decide that you will eat fewer animals or only those that can be easily replaced instead of those that are more rare. You might decide to not eat some kinds of animals. After all, scientists think that pigs and octopuses are just as smart as dogs. Or you might decide not to eat animals at all. You might follow the example of Dr. Temple Grandin, an author, animal scientist, and advocate for animal rights. Dr. Grandin was diagnosed with autism as an adult and used her unique way of thinking to better understand animal behavior. In her book titled "Animals Make Us Human," she wrote about what makes animals happy and how we can help them live their happiest lives as they would define it, not as humans would define it. Dr. Grandin was especially interested in cows and studied them rigorously, resulting in recommendations about how to humanely slaughter cattle to make meat. This resulted in radical changes to slaughterhouses around the world. Her humane methods are not yet universal, but they are widespread and have become a standard to follow. Dr. Grandin said, "I think using animals for food is an ethical thing to do, but we've got to do it right. We've got to give those animals a decent life, and we've got to give them a painless death. We owe the animals respect." Concentrated animal feeding operations, CAFOs, and inhumane methods of slaughter are not respectful of life in any form. Like Maddie, you might be curious about how what you eat can be respectful of the beings that you choose as food. The hard truth is that any way of eating has its drawbacks. A vegan diet can be dependent on soy and other beans, crops that can be grown in monoculture and used with lots of pesticides. Organic farming is labor-intensive and might exploit the labor of immigrants who work and live in inhumane circumstances. Eating meat and fish has harsh environmental impacts and requires the death of a living animal who may have been raised and slaughtered in awful circumstances. With so many choices and so much tension, it can be easy to simply turn away. We'd like simple decisions with no drawbacks, and at the same time, we know those rarely exist. So, you might prioritize knowing something about where your food comes from. You might choose to eat more locally, buying from local farmers or at farmers markets, or you might grow some food of your own. You might pay attention to the climate impact of the food you eat or become a food activist. The areas of food justice include making sure healthy and affordable food is available in all neighborhoods, not just the well-off ones. Noticing how food is transported and how far. Paying attention to the additives and chemicals that are approved for use in food and on food. The decisions we make as individuals are important, and it is also important to join with others to demand food justice for all people, and all beings. We never know when the animals just might save us. While it can seem overwhelming to make changes regarding food, it is possible. On January 9th of this year, South Korea's National Assembly voted to ban the dog meat industry. Yeah, absolutely. It will make the breeding, slaughter, and sale of dogs and dog meat for human consumption illegal starting in 2027. Culture doesn't change quickly, but change is possible. And when we make change, it changes us. Food is necessary for life. It is also about identity, connection, and joy. We also want to honor our connection to the beings we share this earth with. This weekend's Procession of the Species was a magnificent celebration of that connection. It helps us to remember to be grateful for the abundance of this earth that gives us all that we need to live. We animals give off CO2 that plants make into oxygen and food for us. Isn't that a marvel and a miracle? It matters what we do. It matters what we eat. May our decisions show respect, kindness, humility, and reverence. And by our actions, may we make it so. Let's just hold a moment of silence together.
Let's join together in singing hymn number 1053, How Could Anyone? I invite you to rise in body and her spirit. Let's sing together.
Oh
If you're online and have a chalice or candle, please join me as we extinguish our chalice. Being human means being of this earth. Being of this earth means that we are connected to every other being of this earth: plant, insect, animal, human. May we honor the interconnected, sacred web of life in all that we do. May you go in peace, go in joy, go in love.